Hello.
Hi, do you hear me now?
Yep, I hear you.
Okay. Every time I open Zoom, and I do it quite frequently, it's a new adventure. No, they keep changing the screen, and
Yeah.
there's all these new exciting things you get to dismiss. It's very complicated.
Mhm.
Good morning.
Good
Good
morning,
morning.
Saren. Wait, I'm trying to hear if I hear louder. I'm trying to figure out how to adjust the volume on this. So somebody has to talk.
Hi there.
Okay, I got you. Okay. How are you?
I'm okay.
Ugh,
What a nice day.
it is. It's beautiful.
Cold, but no wind. They thought we would have lots of wind, and then so bright.
You
I
know,
love.
if you can get over the loss of nice weather, this is pretty good.
Oh, I know, I know.
You have to get over it
I
first.
in in February or something for a day like this, we say, "Oh, it was like a summer day."
Exactly. Exactly. But you have to just your mindset has to change. I do not like the winter. There are people who like the winter, but that would not be me.
I know.
And
I'm there.
I have to
I
change my whole mindset. Like, okay, given that it's going to suck, it's pretty good.
I know. I know. Well, luckily, we're lucky to have houses with heat,
Yes, we
and
are.
the town is doing their best to dig us out of the snow, major snowfalls. So, that's life.
No, I mean, a lot of it has to do with acceptance.
Yeah,
You just,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Hi, Reginald.
Good morning, everyone.
Good
Good
morning. Do you want to be
morning.
called Reginald? Or do you have a name you'd prefer to be called?
Reggie.
Reggie.
Yeah,
Right.
Okay. Okay,
thank you.
cool. All right. Gotta ask. You don't ever know.
That's right.
Some people don't. We were just talking about the winter. So how are things at UMass? Did any of your students that you work with live in the Olympia place?
Not to my knowledge. My put title here, my role, do not really interact with students anymore on a one-to-one basis. Was doing that mainly when I was in, we were called access coordinators, like case managers. So
Yeah.
now my role shifted. I'm more like an outreach and speaking education events on campus. So do not really meet with students one-on-one. And have not heard from any of my colleagues if anybody who was, and most likely we have close to 4 or 5 thousand students who are registered with us. So in some form or way, somebody's probably connected with this office with that tragic fire.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Yeah, yeah.
That Friday night,
Unbelievable.
I was out in the Drake at a comedy show, and the comic kept mentioning, "Wow, you guys have a lot of like siren, ambulance, police activity." He was making like a joke out of it. He did not know, and that was the same time that the fire was going on, like
Oh,
8:15 that Friday evening.
I wasn't in town because I only live about a mile and a half from there. And I would have been aware of it, but I wasn't in the town. I was somewhere else.
Yeah.
So what a
It was
horrible,
a
I just like
major
unbelievable.
thing. And then that brings some pressure to the town to increase the number of firefighters by 18. So,
Now, here's the question. Everyone got out, thank God,
yeah,
but was the building equipped, for example, if there were any people with disabilities that needed to get out and happened to be there? I mean, it was thankfully a Friday night, and a lot of people are not home on Friday night.
and it
So,
started in a building that wasn't occupied, it was under
correct.
construction.
Right.
So that also set up enough alarms. And luckily, you
Yeah,
know,
but I'm wondering about that
mm, mm,
building. I
yeah,
mean, they didn't say anything about problems with compliance with codes or anything.
yeah,
So they haven't said anything like that, but I'm thinking from the evacuation perspective, if, I don't I don't know. I mean, thank God everyone got out. It wasn't
Yeah.
an issue. But along with many other things you have to think about when you have that kind of fire, that kind of
The
huge
prepare
incident,
the
you have to think
preparedness.
about what else could have gone wrong if more people had been home.
I know.
Friday night at
No, yeah.
college campuses, not that many people are home.
Absolutely, you're so right because the timing, first of all, 8 o'clock at night, most college people are up at that time. There could have been a couple of people who went to bed early or taking naps.
Yeah.
However, nobody got caught off guard like a 2 o'clock morning
Exactly.
Yeah.
fire where
Yeah.
you have to run out the house with your pajamas on. And
Yep.
Yeah.
that building, I never been inside of that building. However, there's a bus
Can't leave the
that
front door
sometimes I
open.
jump on. It goes through. It stops at Olympia over the years. It's like maybe the 38 or 36 bus that goes through Amherst. And I always would watch and look outside, look at the building. Like it is a relatively new building.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
most likely, hopefully, the codes and violations and policies should have been all up to date.
I
Well,
think they were. They have not complained about any of it.
Yeah.
It's just a wood construction building, and that's sort of what happens. They did say that the sprinkler systems that are required in buildings of that size, if they're residential, are not as powerful as sprinklers that are required in commercial buildings, which seems to me it should be the opposite. But
Myra, it might be an idea for us to send a inquiry to see. We hope, like, is there any way you could update us with the preparedness? Hi, Jim. Jim is here. We were
hi,
just talking
Jim.
about the fire in Olympia Drive, and Myra brought up a question to see if the building occupied parts are equipped with alert systems in case of fire. So,
Well, I'm not sure what I was asking. I was just saying that, we didn't start the meeting yet, Jim. You made a quorum, so now we can. Um, but I I was just I was amazed in some ways that nobody got hurt. And I think everyone is amazed that nobody got hurt because it went so fast.
yeah.
It was so big. And I assume it didn't have any terrible repercussions with people, with life, because a lot of people weren't home because on
No,
Friday night,
absolutely.
yeah,
And
college
you
kids
know,
are not home on Friday night.
no, and just the impact of the fire, explosions. Usually when you hear explosions, that usually means some injuries or
Yep.
casualties.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really quite remarkable. They said there were animals lost,
Hmm.
like pets. Um, but I assume dogs or cats or who knows what else. But anyway, we can start the meeting because we now have a quorum. So let's see. Does somebody want to read the disclaimer so we can get going? Philip, you could do it. Jim, you could do it. Sarah, you could do it. I don't know if you could do it, Reggie, but
No.
it's not in Braille, so I can't do it. Um, and even if it was, Jim, are you there? We know you're there,
I'm
but we don't.
here. I'm gonna
Oh,
need to find it. Philip, is
Yeah.
it right?
I don't have,
Yep, I can
oh,
pull it up right now.
it's on the agenda on the top.
Yep, I could read it. So,
Thank you.
accordance to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2025, extended through June 30th, 2027, the ability of public bodies to meet in a fully remote or hybrid manner. Member of the publics who wish to access the meeting may do so via Zoom or by telephone. See instructions below. No in-person attendance or members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. And
Okay,
that's it.
cool. Thank you. All right, so we need to start with a roll call. I'm here, Myra Ross. I believe Sarah Darren is here,
yes, I
correct?
am. Yes.
And Jim Crudnier is here,
Yes.
and Reginald Andrade is here.
Yes.
And I don't think, I know Pamela is on vacation, and I
Mhm.
don't think Ian or Cody are here. Am I correct?
Correct. Cody said that he will not be able to make it to the meeting. He just messaged me, and Ian said that he will be a little late, so he may join soon.
Okay. All right. All right. So the first order of business is, wait, where's hello, my speech is gone. There we go. Um, oh yeah. Okay, so the first thing we were going to talk about is the parking at Town Hall.
Okay.
So did you meet with Guilford?
Yes.
Okay.
It was a
And
cold morning, but it was a dry, cold morning. So we met, and then Pamela joined us about maybe 15, 20 minutes late because she was just coming out of another meeting. And poor woman, she didn't even get a chance to put her coat on because she didn't want to miss any part.
oh
She just
no.
had just a shirt.
Oh no.
Yeah, but she kept it very bravely. So we went around, and I showed what I had in mind, and Guilford said, "What is it? What will happen if we put the way I was thinking of putting two next to each other, where the old HP parking is?" We will be losing one space. And he says he can do that, but it is not in his jurisdiction to lose a space, which needs to have special approval from the town manager. And then we thought about, there are two places there right now with the sign up, which wasn't up before. So we said maybe we shouldn't really touch it, leave it like that. Then,
Is it clear that there are two spaces there?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, but that not adjacent to each other. One is on the north side, one as you enter the parking lot, one is on the south side.
Okay.
So if that means anything. So then I said, what is like if you park, get out of your vehicle and trying to go to the accessible entrance, that walkway, that driveway is shared by the cars that pull into that parking lot. And there is a little space, looks like a little raise on the left side, close to the building, which is west side. Yeah.
Wait, a little what
Yeah.
that is next to the building? I missed the word you said.
Like sidewalk, but it's not really raised sidewalk.
Ah, okay.
There is part of it that look like the starting of a sidewalk. And I said, if this could be extended a little bit, widened a little bit, that will, and then that could provide, or with signs or whatever's, that could be a safe walkway for people with more mobility impairments. And then we looked, Pamela was there at that time. Then we looked into the darkness. And while we were doing this, there was a car that pulled in to the driveway from the street. But of course, they noticed that we were there. So they were very nice and slow. And so it didn't look like an imminent danger. But then I said, at night, if they have night meetings, and it doesn't even have to be night meetings, when you're getting out of a meeting, the days are much shorter now. And I said, maybe we could have better illumination. Oh, then Guilford said, yes, that could definitely be done. And so did Pamela. So that was one good thing out of that. I mean, they were going to look into the sidewalk.
I think there's two good things out of it.
Yeah.
The sidewalk and the
Well,
light.
yeah. And then what is very, very interesting is I always said there is another door that is an entrance um, to the entrance to the basement of the town hall. And then Guilford did not have the key. He says, "I don't have any jurisdiction into inside the building. Period. I cannot do anything about it. I don't even have access to the thing." And then at that time, Pamela joined. Oh, she said, "I can open it." So she opened it. She unlocked the door, and it is a beautiful entrance. And
Where is it?
it is when you park your vehicle on the north side, and then say you are going toward the accessible entrance of the town hall, you're on that path, on that what is that?
On Main Street.
Yeah, I mean, you're not on Main Street. You're trying to get to the Main Street.
Got
Just
it. Okay.
very close to the parking where you got off your vehicle, there is a door to the basement of
Not the one that we know that has the big ramp. Not that
yeah.
one?
Yes, that one. That
That
one.
one. Okay, yeah, yeah, that's the
And
back door.
it is so nicely ramped and carpeted and
Wait, that
but
ramp is very steep.
it is steep, yeah. That's the only thing. And I have no idea, but it is, if it was just a little bit less steep, it would have been a perfect entrance. Perfect. But that I cannot know. I mean, I don't know what could be done. I
Well, it's
don't,
a narrow passage, so they can't make a switchback there. There's not enough room sideways to do it, right?
what do you mean?
Like the ramp is very steep. That's I've known about that for all the time, but I knew that you couldn't if you went on that, that would be a suicide thing if you
No,
went by
no,
yourself.
no, it's not really that bad.
It's not that bad.
Not that bad because I was able to do it. I mean, my
Oh,
PCA was next to me, ready to catch me, but I could do it, but it was very steep.
Well, they have
And
to extend it to bring it up to code. That's really the only option there.
there is no place though.
there is nowhere to
There is
extend
nowhere
it.
it can be extended inside.
The
And
only thing they could do
Mm.
is they could build a bump out on the building and start the ramp inside so it would be less steep. But that's a big thing.
Yeah.
You know
But
what I mean? But
otherwise,
like they could move the entrance, but then you'd lose your sidewalk. So you have to have one or the other.
yeah, I mean, if they provided this ramp, I mean, if it was one way achievable, it would have been perfect. And it looks so nice. And there is just a door which you need to go inside to get to the elevator. But anyhow, so that was, I mean, I had never been
Saren,
to that.
when you go in the door, does
Yes.
the ramp start immediately at the door or is there a little platform there? Like you open
Hmm.
the door, you go in. My
Yeah,
my recollection is that the ramp starts right away at the door,
it
but
might.
it doesn't.
It might, but I can't remember.
Hi, this is Philip. It does start immediately once you open the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
it's
the only thing that could be done is a bump out where the ramp. No, it wouldn't even work.
yeah.
I was thinking if there was a platform there, it would work, but it doesn't.
Well,
Yeah.
Pamela and Guilford, we went all the way down and then tried to go up, and we couldn't really see any solutions. They are more knowledgeable than me. So, but anyhow, so we then turned around. So we checked the front parking spaces, and which were very nice. And I learned one thing, like when you look at the spaces right by the town hall, adjacent to the town hall, there is double lines before the HP marks are on the ground. And I said, why did they do this double lines? Why didn't they put the parking next to the building? Why? Oh, and Guilford said you can get on it. Oh, really? I said, because all the time I thought when you see double line, it's a get out of that. It's no no entry, nothing. That's what I thought always. But they said, no, it's not. You could just park on the double lines. And so that I thought was
Wait,
interesting.
if that's not clear to you,
It's not clear.
that's not clear to anybody.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I can't claim that I know it all, So, what do you think, Jim?
I'm I'm trying to visualize it. Could you
Okay.
could you describe it again?
Okay. All right. Now, uh, you're on Main Street
Yeah,
and you are making a turn to Boltwood Walk,
yeah,
and it's a one-way street.
right.
And there are two parking places.
Wait, you're not talking behind the building anymore?
No, no,
Uh-huh.
no. I'm in the front.
Ah, I'm completely not where you are. Okay. All right. So go back to the front of the building. You're on Main Street. You're
On
turning
Main
in
Street.
there to go. Okay, got it.
Yeah. Okay. And then you're going toward the what's that?
Toward the
Amherst.
church.
Yeah, that's right. So there are two places adjacent to the building, but adjacent to the building, you see double lines, and then maybe about 4 or 5 feet wide, and then on the outside of the double lines, you see the parking places, HP parking places. And then I said, why Guilford? Why didn't put the double? I mean, why did they put even a double line? Why did they do that? Like and he said it is somebody, if they need to get out of their vehicle on the left side, then there is space there. And then, but if you get off like I do with my van, then you will get kind of to the street.
They
Oh,
were
it's
supposed to put those parking spaces on the west side of, when you go down from Main Street, they were supposed to be on the right side.
there are two on the right side, yes. And then there are two on the left side, to the close to the town hall.
Yeah, but they're not a van accessible.
Well, I mean, I think they are, but the double lines are on like if you're coming with your vehicle, you will see the double lines on your left side, and then the parking is immediately to the right of that. No, I'm just describing it terrible.
No, I'm just
Somebody,
really, I'm
Philip,
worried
can you
about
please
people getting
explain?
out of
Because
the vehicle
huh?
and getting hit by a car.
That's kind of what I thought.
Yeah.
Because I said I would like to always pull close to the sidewalk and then get off that way. And then I will see, the double lines on my street side, so I could just safely land in there. But he said, don't worry, you can park again close to the sidewalk and lower the lift. This time the lift will be lowered to where it is marked the handicap sign on the road. So, but I learned for the first time that I would be allowed to work on double line. That's what he said. Well, I said it's something new I learned. But
You
it
feel
just
comfortable getting out of your car into a stripe area on the street where the cars are whizzing by on your right. You feel comfortable with that?
well, if I don't, then there is another one
Then you do it on
across
the
the
other side of
street.
the street.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
See,
it's
I
just
don't think those should be van accessible spaces. They're very dangerous for that.
well,
They're
they are.
okay for somebody who's on the driver's side.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, exactly. If you get off your vehicle and you cannot park the other way, turn around and put it so that I can
It's a
uh,
one-way street. You can't get
yeah,
out.
because it's a
Yeah.
one-way street.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah.
That would be even more dangerous.
So I thought, it was kind of interesting, and I said, well, maybe there was no other alternative they could figure out. So, but it was a very good, productive meeting, and Guilford was very able to assist whatever he could. But he says, and I said, sometimes we write things and we don't really see any results, you know. And he says, just keep on addressing to the town manager and him and Pamela, and of course. So it was
Okay,
really,
so where are we technically? Do we need to write a letter
yes,
requesting better lighting
yes,
and that sidewalk? It
possible
can't be a
sign,
rise sidewalk, but it has to be a visual
right?
sidewalk, like so it would have to have like big striping
Double
on it as a sidewalk,
line.
and then one of the lines would have to be tactile.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So those are the two things, and you could quote that in that meeting. I was president, so was Guilford and Pamela. So
What
they brought
do
the
we know
whole.
what day that was?
Oh, I think it was a Friday. Let me see. I can find out from my calendar.
Because I can write a note to Paul Bockelman on behalf of this committee. We should take a vote, but I can write a note to Paul Bockelman about the fact that you had this meeting. Two members of the commission were there, you and Pamela, and you met with Guilford, and these are the recommendations. And I'll send it, as I understand it, those are the recommendations. And those are not, well, the electricity is a little expensive, but the sidewalk striping isn't. So that's pretty
Yeah,
good.
yeah. I
We're
think
talking
I,
about,
I think that was the 14th.
What's the question, Jim?
are we talking about sidewalk striping on that existing bit of extended curb in the alley going to the back of the building?
I think
Yes,
let me understand what you're saying. Adjacent to the town hall, you're saying
yes,
that instead of that just being the road, it should
yes,
be demarcated as a sidewalk
yes. Part of it, yes. Close to the town.
adjacent to the building.
Yes.
Okay, so I
And
don't know how wide it needs to be according to the MAAB and all that. We have to check that out. But
Guilford
what you're
said
saying is
it
keep
is
the
doable.
cars off of it so that people who are in wheelchairs or otherwise, coming out of there on foot
Yes.
don't have to compete with the traffic.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. Okay.
Especially, and we can tie it to the illumination because when the meeting ends in dark,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Okay, I can
and
write something. I can write that up.
that's right.
Thank you. That's great. Thank you for doing that.
And then Guilford also said, well, I said to both Pamela and Guilford, I said, I just faced this problem when I was going into the building to sign to be part of this commission. And I asked the person, I said, are you allowed to park behind the building? And he said, yeah, people that work there can park. So I said, to me, it seems like when the parking is very limited, why can't the workers be provided some other place where, they could park without paying any money, and then they could walk into their jobs. And they said, actually, they're not supposed to park there, but it's just written in paper. So it is not really enforced, but it could be a friendly reminder. And we also were told that workers there are not allowed to park in the parking lot to provide access to public. But
Got
that's,
it.
I mean,
Interesting.
that's
Okay.
my understanding.
Yeah,
So,
no, that was a very
I,
productive meeting. Thank
I
you.
mean, yeah, I thought so. It was very friendly, and we were all trying to find a solution to the problem. So maybe Philip might know about this rule of the parking.
Okay.
this whether the staff could do it or not. But
Okay.
that's what I grabbed from this meeting.
All right. I think we need to move on, but that was really,
Yeah,
really good because that's
I
been
thought,
coming up for years. I'm so glad you took care of that and
well,
that you're gonna get the best result out of the space that you could get. So,
yeah, yeah,
well, we hope
yeah,
we get the result. Let's see.
yeah,
Oh, who
yeah.
knows? Okay. No, I put something on to set a goal or goals for the commission because we seem to be good at being reactive. People bring things to us, people mess things up. But we haven't really had time to think about what what would we want to do if it came from us? What would we want to achieve in the town? Is there something in a place? Is there something programmatic? Is there something that you think would benefit people in this town who have disabilities that we could work toward? And that's what I wanted to ask. And I wish the other three people were here. So maybe we should table it. But um, I just, I don't know what people think of the question. Let's find that out first.
No, I like that question as far as, I live and I've been living in Amherst for 21 years and I live right in the center of town, right behind Xander's clothing store, right next to the
Yeah,
Western Cemetery. So a couple of issues, often I always walk, people always see me walking around and I like sitting on the benches in town, just especially when it's pretty busy. But I noticed a lot of several storefronts on the same side as where Toy Box Xander's is located and going
yeah,
all the way up to Subway to Main Street. Some businesses have sandwich boards which they place in the middle of the sidewalk, which is, I've walked into them several times. I've seen other people. In fact, I've seen people walking with canes who are visually impaired or blind, like trip and stumble over sandwich boards. Is there some sort of policy not to have
Mm,
sandwich boards placed in the middle of sidewalks?
that's a good
that's
question, and I do not
yeah,
know the
very good
answer.
point.
All right, so that's a good question. And I will write it down. Hold on. Oh, well, go on. All right, so we want to find out if is there anything about, hold on. Okay. Okay. All right. I don't know. That's a very good question.
Yeah.
All right, and I don't know, I think, um, eventually we have a liaison to this committee, Reggie, from the town council. At the moment, it's Pat DeAngelis. She did not run for reelection, so she will be off of the board after the December meeting because they get sworn in again in January, and they will assign a new liaison to us. We don't have any input into who that is, but they will assign somebody to us. And this would be the kind of thing that if the liaison were present, we would ask them to find out about that. Um, and normally the liaison would also bring some of these concerns to the manager. So right now we have to communicate directly, or normally Pamela would communicate directly about things that are of, extreme importance, but we usually try to write memos, put things in writing. So that is a very good question. I was wondering whether anyone has anything more broad. For example, in the summertime when the eating was outside, the outdoor dining, were there any concerns? They tried to address those. And there are rules in the MAAB about where the tables can go and everything. Did that
Mhm.
work well? Did anyone have trouble with that?
Well,
Well, I
I
noticed like the side which I just mentioned, that side of the street on North Pleasant Street where
Yeah.
Toy Box and going all the way up. In terms
Yeah.
of outdoor tabling, Not as much. The only tabling is outside of the Antonio's Pizza restaurant, and which
Mhm.
is in the street. So it does not really impede like the walking area.
Okay.
However, on the other side, in front of the Fresh Side Cafe,
Yep. Yep.
Mhm.
that notice those tables often, if people have chairs, may leave chairs in the middle of the sidewalk, which it often impedes my walking up that street, and I'm sure other people as well.
So maybe there needs to be a sign pushing your chairs. I mean, sort of human courtesy, but human courtesy went bye-bye years ago. So,
Yeah. I mean,
um, there's also in front of Amherst Coffee on Amity Street. They have
Yes,
tables.
yes. That one gets pretty tight because the table's on both sides of the sidewalk, one facing the glass of the restaurant, then other tables on the right side. So you have to walk exactly down the middle or you will get caught up on a chair or a table, especially again if a chair is left out in the
Okay.
sidewalk.
Okay. So we should maybe get to that in the spring. But I was
yeah.
just even thinking more lofty goals. Do we have any? Is there anything that you've always thought, it'd be really good if this town did X, or if, I've seen Y in a place and I think we should do it, or I think there should be better, um, like for you, Reggie, you work UMass Disability Services. UMass is its own country, really. It doesn't, people don't really interact with the town unless they do. But there's no formal interaction between, for example, your office and this committee. Now we have you, but I don't know if you see any need for it.
Yeah, but for example, every November, campus and sponsored by the UMass Police Department does an event in the evening called Walk for Light. Walk for Light, and people volunteer. They meet at the Student Union building here on campus, break up into groups, and each group is responsible for a certain section of campus to walk at night. And the event lasts for perhaps about 2 hours, 5:30 to like 7:30. Then in the findings, you notice where there's faulty sidewalks, there are cracks in sidewalks for wheelchair users, there are, could be potholes in the grounds for wheelchair users. And in addition, which I can really apply to as far as living in Amherst, the lighting, the street lighting. I noticed certain sections are lit in Amherst, in the center of Amherst, many are poorly lit. And now the time the sunset is 4:20, 4:25 in the PM. It gets very dark in Amherst, especially those like for example, my condition have a time adjusting. Like if I go from daylight to nighttime, and sometimes just picking up just different things that might again for like the sandwich boards or if there was better light, even where I live. I'm not even sure who to contact. Not every year. So there's two light poles behind Xander's clothing store, the toy box, that box. And
Yep.
every couple of years the lights go out and I always call. Nobody else seems like nobody else calls to get them because when I leave and come in to my apartment, it's usually I leave very early in the morning and I usually come back at the end, now early evening. So it's
Mhm.
dark.
Yeah.
So it took about 2 months this year for the lights to get replaced. The
Wow.
lights which are against the cemetery graveyard wall, the stone wall, and it
Mm.
lights up that parking lot. However, there's another parking lot to the left when I walk straight in. When I usually walk in, I cut in between Xana's clothing store and the gas station. There's a driveway, and
Yeah.
when I walk straight ahead to my apartment complex, there's no lighting there, and there are vehicles parked on both sides, and oftentimes it is a hindrance as far as I might bump into a vehicle because of the poor lighting. So I'm not sure who to reach out to about getting more adequate lighting in the area.
Okay.
Uh, Myra, about your question, I have one idea that just came to me, and I
Okay.
to give it as an example. By the way, I found out the meeting we had with Guilford that day was November 7th
Okay.
in the
Thank
morning.
you. Perfect.
So
Okay.
when we were going around the building from the back of the building, town hall, toward the main street, And right when you make a left turn on the sidewalk, there is a big ditch there. I mean, it's for people that are able-bodied, it's no big deal. But for somebody like me, if you're going at a speed, it's just scary. It's it needs to be filled. So I and I asked, I said, see, it's very difficult. I cannot really go through it easily. Maybe I could have done it 15 years ago, but right now I don't feel like it. And then I asked my PCA to help me, and even Guilford joked with her. So this, and he was joking at Soka, and Soka said, yeah, I've been doing this for a long time. So anyhow, and on our we went around this, and then we came back again, and we were just looking at the lights. We were at that intersection again, that corner, and some people were moving some carts from the outside of the accessible entrance, and they were maybe three people. They were pushing something for the Veterans Day celebration or something. And what do you know? The guy almost fell off that thing. And I said, Guilford,
I
what
mean,
does it
because of the
take?
hole?
Yeah. I
Whoa.
mean, the break in the sidewalk, it's like maybe about 2 inches wide. Uh, and it's really a problem. And it just happened in front of our eyes. So I said, Guilford, why don't you just get something and fill that hole don't wait until all the sidewalks are going to be repaired because you asked for this fancy grant and the town is going to put so much of it and so forth. And he said, I don't have the money, Saran. Show me the money. Well, I said, are you looking for donations? So my proposal would be that if the town would allocate, say, $150,000 each year on a fund to be used for immediate needs, immediate accessibility needs, whatever that will be.
You'll be lucky if you get 50,000
Well, I mean,
or
and the
25.
same is true. I mentioned again the same thing that Jim brought up to our attention across from Florence Bank. Yeah,
Yep.
it's going to be something beautiful when it is all done, but when? I hope my
Yep.
lifetime will be long and I'll see it. I feel like saying that. So if they had something, but we can propose, you say, we have what we dream of, this is what will be a great achievement from my perspective of looking, because I always see that they don't do small projects because there's no money allocated for such things.
Yeah. He also said, right, because I think Jim asked at the last meeting and he said contractors don't want to come in and do a small project. They want to
Yeah,
do a big project.
right. So maybe
So,
they should
so
have
that,
some handyman that works for them on a call basis.
yeah,
There are so many people handyman. Just give them something and say, okay, this needs to be filled, this space. You don't have to have a contractor. Something small scale, like you would handle in your own house.
yeah, you would
Like,
hope that he would have people on his staff who could do that.
Well, I would say though that last week along College Street, there were DPW guys
yeah,
uh, filling in where they had done all that road work on College Street.
yeah.
Um, there was the entryways to all the little plazas there had gotten screwed up. I mean, that is that the road was too high for the entryway or something like that. But anyway, so it was DPW guys who were doing that work. So I mean, I think it is a matter of money. I think that we can ask for however much we want and then see what they do with it. Maybe we only get 25,000, but on the other hand, maybe we'll get 150, who knows? And then we just have to have a concerted effort um, to identify the problems as they come up, whether it's right around town hall or whether it's in the sidewalks near where Reginald lives, however it all works, But
Yeah.
that sidewalks in this town are, well, they're a lot like the roadways in this town. They're not in good shape for the most part.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so
It's expensive, that I
yeah.
understand.
And it's
Yeah.
an
Well,
ongoing problem. I mean, it's not
yep.
a 1-year thing because
Nope.
3 years down the road, there'll be another problems at that same spot, probably. But nevertheless, I think it's worthwhile to do it. One of the things that Rob Mora said at some point was that, yeah, they often have little bits of money to use, but they don't know when they'll have it or how or why. But if we're active in identifying the problems that exist, then maybe he can use his little fund or we get a fund of $150,000. Why not dream, right? And go about things that way. Anyway, I think it's
Yeah. No, I think that's good. And maybe we should start the list.
Yeah.
Um,
Then we can just tell them that this is not a money that needs to be spent, and if we can have the control, prioritize how that money will be spent, like the little projects, like the Florence savings with the across from that place, might buy the town hall and buy the places Reggie was talking about, and there will be
well,
many other.
appropriated money
Yeah.
has to be spent or it goes away. It
or
goes into
or
free
maybe
cash.
maybe it might be some other way to put it,
But
like if it
we
is
have a
not spent, it
fund.
could roll into next year.
Remember, you can't do that. You can't roll money over if it's appropriated money. But
Yeah.
we
Mm.
have a fund, remember? It's part of our fund. We're supposed to get money from handicap parking, which they do not enforce rigorously in this town. And whereas many other towns are leveling $300 fines on a second offense or even a first offense, Amherst barely does anything. It's one of those other things that they don't enforce. So we have potential for having money. So and our money, unlike appropriated money, our money will not dry up at the end of the year. It rolls over. So that's why it's important to differentiate, if they need to put some money in there so that it won't disappear and it's available, maybe they can do that.
And maybe we can ask the state, like Jim, you were talking about, your Rob was telling, and maybe they could be matching funds. Like if we collect like $1,000 from fines this year, they
Yeah, I
might
don't think
bring
they do that.
another. Huh?
They don't do that. But within our money, we could do
Myra,
that. The
don't say
state
that.
doesn't just come up with $1,000 here and there. They have grants that they give out for specific purposes. And actually, the MOD grant decision has been made. I don't know what they decided, but I know that they made the decisions about who's going to get the money this year. Remember, that's the 100,000 we
Right.
lost.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't know. Maybe Pamela was informed. Philip, are you reading Pamela's mail?
Yes, I have not seen anything come through about that.
Okay. Well, today's Tuesday. I heard on Saturday that they made the decision.
Okay.
Um, so if you hear anything, or actually, Philip, if you can write to Dave Zomek or to Rob Mora or to both of them and say that you know that the MOD decision has been made, can they let us know whether Amherst received any money from the MOD grant? That
Okay.
would be great. And then you could let us know. Um, I know, I know that it'll come out this week, they said.
Okay.
So that would be really cool.
And
But okay, so we need a better emergency fund for dangerous sidewalk situations is really what you're saying, both of you, right? All of
Yeah,
you.
the things are just ruled out as they don't have the money. And this is a safety issue. Like
Okay.
these little breaks in the sidewalks is a safety issue. And I know people talked about around the Amherst Cinema, that area, but I haven't really personally observed that. But this one by the town hall, getting into the accessible entrance is those cracks on the sidewalk. And I don't know.
Okay. I mean, that's not like, if we could figure out how we can get money in our fund and then we can ask them to do things, we can find out how much things cost. I mean, it should be materials because he has people working. And if we had money, I mean, he says he would fix it if he had money. He said that a few times, right?
Yeah, he said he
Okay.
doesn't have the money.
Okay. Well, then let's figure out how to get him some emergency money.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I mean. To emergency for accessibility use and to provide safety for the residents of Amherst. It
Okay.
doesn't have to be only somebody using a cane or a wheelchair like me. It happened to somebody that they were pushing a cart,
Yep.
or it could be a baby stroller, or who knows?
Yep.
I don't know.
Yep. Yep.
It
Okay.
is it is too
So,
bad. It's too bad that the town of Amherst does not enforce, like you were saying, for violators of HP parking. So, for
Yeah.
example, here on campus, and HP parking violators are heavily penalized and quickly penalized. And the money that is received goes to this office, Disability Services Office, for a scholarship fund.
Wow.
well, it should be the same thing in the town. And part of the formation of this commission was the formation of an account that is allowed under Massachusetts general laws for us to receive all of the handicap parking funding. The thing is, they don't hardly have any. So that's an interesting question. And
Yeah.
we can say that some of the, okay, all right. Now we need to go on. Let's see. Now that Worcester restaurant accessibility thing, did anybody read it?
Yes.
Okay,
I, I
did
didn't.
you didn't? Okay,
Mm-mm.
did you, Jim?
I didn't know.
Okay, so what it is a thing by the city of Worcester, to restaurant, um, correct me when you want to, Reginald. It's telling restaurants how to have a more pleasant and legal environment for people with various disabilities. And it has a bunch of Worcester stuff on the top that's really irrelevant to this town, but the meat of it is, for people who use wheelchairs, this is what you need to be sure. For people who don't speak well, this is what you need to be sure. If for people who can't see, for low vision people, for people who don't hear well, have a pad of paper and pencil around, like all that. And some of the suggestions I thought were very good. Um, and I don't want to, I don't know that we need to link to the whole Worcester thing because there's a lot of Worcester specific telephone numbers and, you know, stuff to call. And um, so I don't know if they would allow us to credit them, but to rewrite it for ourselves. But I think there's some useful stuff on there. I think
Oh,
it would be useful maybe for people to read it and come up with any more. Reginald, do you have any suggestions?
no, the article, the story, the piece was very good. It kind of reminded, like, for example, we have a group of 14 to 17-year-old high school students who come to UMass who are blind or low vision and stay on campus for 2 weeks in the summertime. In this office, we coordinate and we help support it from the Polis Center. And the one of the people up there who we deal with is Joshua Pearson, who UMass graduate, who was totally blind, came through our office. And that was one section of that story, Maya, where in terms of for example, in dining halls, just to try to give education to personnel who work in the dining halls, when these students are on campus going, because that has been an issue over the years. Those tips, those pointers, those suggestions were very, very good in that story.
Yeah. I was trying to think if I even had any extra ones. I think we should bring it back one more time and look at it, Jim, look at it, Sarah. See if you have any suggestions for things that might be added to the list. And I think we could, I think we could write our own and credit them for, or excerpted from, and I think that it would be useful. We could put Emmer specific things on there, but I think it would be useful. And then once we do it, we could distribute it to restaurants, or, it could be distributed to restaurants so that they could have a sense of, this is what is required and expected of you in dealing with patrons who have disabilities. And the beginning of it is like, a lot of people with disabilities have a lot of disposable income and they like to eat out. So, like this is what you need to do to make, one of the things, I don't know if you have this problem, Sarah, and I'm assuming
Yeah.
Reginald does. I know I do. My
I,
problem is you go with anybody anywhere, you go with your PCA, they talk to your PCA instead of you.
oh
Do
yeah.
they?
Well,
Yeah.
that's nothing.
Yeah. That's one of the things that's
Yeah.
in the thing. And I thought that's absolutely true. I mean, when I
Yeah.
was an elected official in the town and I'd walk in with my husband, they would hand materials to him. They would talk to him as though he were my caretaker. I was like,
Yeah.
what? Yeah, I'm the elected official. He's just here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, um, it was interesting. I mean, so I think there's a lot of education, and
Right.
East Hampton does a lot of those public service announcement things. They've made some videos. That's not my thing. I don't know if it's anybody's thing in this group. Um, but they have, they put on, and I don't know if they ever show them
Yeah.
anywhere. I
Yeah.
don't know, but
I
I
mean,
know they've made some.
it could be something that could be on our website, and it could be something sent to the Chamber of Commerce so they could share it with their,
The restaurant thing.
yeah, the
Yeah, that's what I'm
restaurant.
thinking. Yeah,
Yeah.
they could take care of it. That's right. They have a newsletter, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Good point. Okay. So I think we could rewrite that, but I'd like one more month for people to actually look at it and see if you have any suggestions for things to add to the list before we go and do it.
Where was that thing? Where could
It's
we?
actually in the packet that Philip sent.
Oh, okay.
It's
I
right
didn't
after
come
the
across it.
minutes.
I don't know why. It must have been sort of a continuation
Yeah.
of,
Well, Philip put it all in one thing. So it's not, it says packet instead of saying minutes. So
okay.
he didn't break it down, but in where it says packet, I couldn't find it either. And then I'm like, wait, maybe he stuck it at the end of the minutes, which in fact is what he did.
Okay.
Yes, I did. And
Yeah.
apologies if that's not how you all normally
That's
do it on your
that's
commission.
that's
No,
okay.
well,
You have to point
normally
us
we,
directly to the place. That's the problem.
Okay.
We won't figure it out on our own.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, you did it as a scan, and I was
Mhm.
able to read it as a scan normally. That's not an accessible document, just so you know, Philip.
Okay.
It doesn't because it's an image file. And image
Okay.
files are not accessible. They're
Hmm.
and both of those, I mean, it was the easiest way to do it, but both of those are actually doc files and they should have been sent as doc files because they are readable
Okay.
with a screen reader. What I did was I went in JAWS and they have a specific function that I was able to use. It reads many image files, but not all. I don't know if you
Good.
use that. Do you use JAWS at all, Reginald, or do you not?
Yes. What version of JAWS are you using, Mara?
Oh, I have 26. I just did it as it's really old. I did it as OCR. I mean, I OCR'd it.
Yes.
It was
Yeah, I had
what
to
you
do
can do forever.
yeah, I had to do the same.
Yeah.
I have JAWS. I had the office on the desktop have JAWS 25. Just cut that about a month ago.
Oh, you should get a new one. There's a better feature in it that
It,
is really cool. You should tell your mass to get you a better one.
What for the
Yeah,
upgrade to
26. They
26?
have a cool feature, yeah, where you can put little digression here.
Yeah.
You can put your cursor, you can go to your form field, any in a thing that you have to fill out, or in a button that's unlabeled, or in anything like that, which is every place in a website, and you can go there and you hit Insert G, and it tells you what the button is, and it tells you what the graphic is, and it tells you what the form field is. And if you ever go back to that particular document, it stays there. So no longer will it say button, button, button. It'll say what the buttons are once you've done it once.
Hmm.
Is that right? Thank you very much
It's
for that.
in 26 and you have to get it. It's very cool.
So JAWS 25 did not have that feature?
No,
All right. Thank you very, very much.
26 just came out like 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's a very, because when we read websites, when they like a lot of the time they don't label stuff, just so you know. So it'll say link, 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 or it'll say button, 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 button. And you see a graphical a design that shows you what the button is for, but we have no idea what it's for.
Hmm.
But they just created this way that you can go to a form field that isn't labeled. So you'll get an edit box, but it won't tell you what they're asking you for. And you go, why, what am I supposed to write here? So you fill out forms and then at the end it tells you did it all wrong because you don't know what the questions was, and now I'm sure it's not perfect, but it will identify unidentified things and will keep them identified, which is
Okay,
pretty
great.
amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's really amazing. I just downloaded it 2 days ago, so I haven't done a lot of using, but you should tell your Mass to buy you a 26.
And I'm eligible for an upgrade. The thing here, so you cannot make any changes on my desktop without administration rights by our IT people.
Yeah, you
So I
have
have to
to. Yeah,
call the IT
that's what happened
people.
to me when I was at the high school too.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, you can't once you're in a system like that. But UMass is buying you the upgrades, right?
So UMass buys the upgrade, and I'm still registered with MCB, Mass Commission for the Blind. And my tech person, nobody here on campus is an expert in JAWS in terms of, especially for any type of upgrades. So, for example, a month ago, well, ever since I've been here, I always have to contact my commission tech person. His name is Bill
Bill
Hirsch.
Hirsch, yep.
Yeah, so Bill has to come to my office. We have to schedule with Bill, and then we have to
And he
schedule to
does the
see.
upgrade?
No, well, Bill is able to make all the JAWS features, and he's good with getting my settings from my previous device onto my new settings. And
It's
I also
supposed to
have to
happen
have an
automatically.
and I have to
That's
have an
weird.
yeah, and I have to have an IT person here because every time we make a change, has to do the administration rights and they have to type in their password and username.
Yep, I remember it well, but the high school people got good at it. They were good. They were very good. The UMass people should be good at it because yours is not the only computer on the campus that has JAWS installed on it. There are
Nope,
quite a few.
nope.
Anyway, okay. But anyway, it's a very cool feature. I digress. We digress. But anyway,
Thank
no, it's a cool feature. You need to get the new one. It's very cool. Um, and wait, let me see. What were we talking about? Oh, 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 yeah, the Transportation and Parking Commission. Remember a million moons ago, they said that they were going to set up
you.
this group that was going to deal with roadways, parking, all kinds of things like that. That would be sort of like from the TAC, which was the Transportation Committee, and anyway, they haven't set it up, but they are about to set it up. So they want a member of this commission to be a member of that parking commission. And it's about roadways, it's about bike lanes, it's about, um, anything that has to do with the public way. I think it's one of the most critical committees we could have. in a way. And if we have really good input on it, it's going to have to be somebody who's really going to be committed to doing it, because it's an opportunity for the voice of people with disabilities to be heard on this commission about the whole public way. Like, where should those bike lanes be? Should they be in the street? Should they be on the sidewalk? I certainly have an opinion, which I'm sure Reginald shares. They should be in the street. You should not be the bicycles on the sidewalk. Um, but how are they going to stripe this? If they're putting in a new bus stop, where are they going to put it? How are they going to indicate, like, we don't want any floating bus stops, meaning you have to cross a bike lane to get to the bus stop from the sidewalk. They're doing that in a lot of cities. They are very, very dangerous. But they're doing it. So we don't want anything like that. And for example, if we have particular interest in, specific streets, if they're fixing something, should they be putting curbs there? Should they not be putting curbs there? Stuff like that. I think anyway, is there anyone who would really like to serve on this committee, on this commission?
Hi, Myra. This is Ian.
Oh, you're
Um,
here. Yay. I didn't know you came.
yeah, sorry, I joined by phone at around noon.
Oh, okay,
Um,
cool.
I have a question. Would this commission also be we've talked in the past about like getting buses and other transportation to accessible trail areas. Would that be
I don't think
under the
I
purview of
don't
this commission as well?
I don't know that they have gotten that far, but that's a good question. Um, the
And also
buses,
a second question. Sorry, do you know how frequently the committee would meet?
it didn't say.
Okay,
I think that's what the commission would determine. The buses are a whole other issue. The town has virtually no jurisdiction over a lot of it because it's PVTA. Um,
right.
and they're willing to do it or they're not willing to do it. They're able to do it or they're not able to do it. They do they have changed a number of bus lines recently. Um, like they've combined a bus that went from UMass to uh Holyoke Mall. It used to only go to South Hadley. I don't remember what they did, but they've tried to streamline their bus routes. They're trying to do the best they can with the resources that they have. Um, but I don't think the town has jurisdiction over a lot of things. We could ask them to install a bus stop in an existing route, but getting them to change a route is not so easy.
Got it.
So,
Um, I
um,
I would be interested in serving on that committee.
okay. Um, we should ask, they have not, I mean, everybody isn't here. So actually we're missing Pamela. She won't want to be on it, I don't think. She has way too much else to do. Um, but Cody isn't here. So you would like to serve on it. It's something that you're going to have to attend all the time and bring back to us. I think that's really, really critical because we really need to talk, the communication from who's ever serving on that committee to us is going to have to be really good, and from us to them, because so much of our conversation is about the public way, um, and how to how best to structure it, how best to repair it, where to put the emphasis of the money, how to design intersections. um, and everybody knows what I'm talking about, except, oh, Reggie, you don't know. Last winter, near the new school on Southeast Street, they decided to build the school at a place where they really hadn't figured out the traffic pattern for the cars that are dropping off kids and the people who are going through that area every day to go to UMass, because it's an important place where people turn into UMass from the east. And it's an important place where people turn to drop their kids. And they figured out that there's going to be incredible gridlock and nobody's going to go anywhere at a few hours of the day. And so they tried to redesign the intersection after they placed the school on the site and had already started building it. So they couldn't use a lot of the, the area that they might have been able to use if they thought about it before. And so it's a big problem. And it was a failure of forethought for sure. Um, and they have not resolved it. But this committee, I think, will have something to do with that. Anyway, so um, I'm glad you want to do it, Ian. And if you, I think we'll make a formal appointment after they ask us. But if you would like to do it, I think we should have an alternate person also decide to, um, because if Ian or whoever is going to go cannot go, that other person should go. Does that sound reasonable?
That makes sense.
Okay.
I have
Yeah,
one other question. Would
Doctor.
would this committee be in charge of like pedestrian traffic signals?
Yep. It's public way,
Okay.
everything. It's huge and it's extremely relevant to people with disabilities. I think it's a very cool thing that they're going to do. And I'm sure that there are going to be some people on it, like I hope Tracy will volunteer. She knows a tremendous amount about transportation and about roads. Um, and hopefully it's going to have like 9 or 10 members, people from the town council, people who have some expertise in transportation. But one of the people standing on the committee will always have to be somebody from this commission, which I think is huge. And if we take full advantage of it, meaning we always have somebody there, that's why I think we need to have an alternate. Um, and we have to really communicate well back and forth, because I think this is an opportunity for us to really be heard on a formal basis rather than complaining about this and that, which didn't already happen, or which did happen but didn't happen right. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
they didn't appoint the commission yet. They didn't ask us, but I wanted people to think, I'm glad you want to do it. And we would need, I think, an alternate. So when they make the request, we're ready to go, right? Okay. Um, let's see. Oh, town forms. I received from a town councilor information that the counselor received from a constituent about a form on the town website. This is a person who's losing vision and can no longer fill out the forms on the website. I don't know if the person uses magnification or if the person uses speech. I don't know. But the thing was that this person was unable to complete a form, which is a fillable PDF, which of course you cannot complete because they're never fillable with screen readers. I don't know about with magnification. They have to be specially written to be fillable. Um, and this person was not happy that couldn't that this person, I don't want to put a gender on it, couldn't fill out the form independently. So um, I sent a note. Probably I shouldn't have done it this way, but I sent a note to Sam Giffen, who's the website person, because the form is off of the website. I don't know if she's the person responsible for forms at all, but I wrote that in the note. I said, I don't know if you're the right person, but if you are, Philip, you might want to even follow up on this. Um, there has to be forms that the town has, like for, what does the town have for forms? I don't even know, but there are forms that you have to fill out. That
Census
tend to
form.
be, I'm
Census
sorry.
form. Census form.
Okay. Okay. They
You know.
tend to be fillable PDFs, and that's what they're called technically, fillable PDFs. And they are fillable for people who can see them. They are not fillable with a screen reader unless they are rewritten. Um, what I wonder is if we can have them post them as fillables or DOCX forms that actually, when you save them or when you submit them to the town, they automatically convert to PDF. So they read them as PDF, they receive them as PDF, but the person who fills them out as a DOCS, DOCX, because those are fillable, if that makes any sense. But anyway, sometimes forms are confidential and they don't want anybody doing it for them. So I think we need to look into this fillable forms to make sure that that it is accessible for people to use the forms. Um, Reggie, I don't know if you have ever tried to fill out a fillable PDF.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. In
Uh,
terms of working here at UMass, so many forms. For example, we have where we put an accommodation for a housing accommodation, for example, if a student is eligible and qualifies for a single room on campus. And in the past, there was a form which was designed by the Residential Life Service Office, which was not accessible for me. So what this office, we have a document conversion program, and we have one person who is a supervisor. And what we would have to do, we'd have to submit her that inaccessible PDF form. She would then work on it to create a fillable form for me to use, which worked out very, very well.
aha.
Great.
Well, maybe the town can hire him to do some forms. I don't know. But yeah, it's a problem. And it's not everyone can do it. It's not, you don't just push a button. There is some expertise required in creating fillable PDFs. I don't have any because I can't do it because if you can't see the regular,
Well,
you can't
Myra,
fix it.
when
Yeah.
when I'm on the computer and if I'm working on a PDF form and I want it fillable, there is, for a little fee, the PDF could be converted to any form that we want. So it's already in place. So that's probably what the town might need to purchase. Maybe
Oh,
they
you
already
mean
have that.
Acrobat Pro? Is that what you're
I,
talking about?
I, I don't know, but I mean, I was trying to write something in the PDF, and of course, it won't let you, but for a little fee, it could be converted to some other kind of a form. So that's the
Yeah.
signal I remember getting.
Yeah, it's Acrobat Pro. You have to pay for it. You're right.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's how they do it. Reggie, is that how they do it?
Well, for example, here on campus, Myra, so for years have used Adobe for
Yeah.
PDFs, Adobe. So probably within the last year, there was a swap where UMass was making a mandatory change to no longer have Adobe accessible for any staff employees. However,
Mm.
I had to get a special accommodation privilege. Certain people where we are still, because the other cannot recall the name of the other PDF reader or like the Adobe. Adobe is accessible, as you know, with JAWS. However, the other version was not. So when Bill Hirsch came in, my mass commission computer guy, when he had to make an installation on JAWS onto an office issued laptop computer, we had to make sure that the Adobe Acrobat Reader would launch and load as the default, and they had to make some changes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. But there is the Adobe Acrobat is the one that we use to read, but Sarah is correct. If you buy Adobe Acrobat Pro, you can convert files. And I don't know if that's how they do it. That's a very good question, Sarah. I do not know. But if that's all they do, then they can pay for somebody to use
Yeah.
Adobe Acrobat Pro and convert it. I'm sorry about my
Maya, what
phone
about
ringing.
in terms of AI, artificial intelligence? Is there any support or assistance for filling out a form online for a blind or low vision user?
I have no idea. Because it's not the material.
No. Whoops. Do you hear me now?
Yeah, we could
Uh-oh.
not hear you briefly. Yes.
But do you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so what I didn't hear what you said because I was trying to mute myself because my phone was ringing. Um, so I didn't answer the phone, but anyway, I couldn't, I didn't hear what you said. Reggie, say that again,
Well,
please.
yeah, as you know, as far as with the latest versions of JAWS screen reader, so there are now AI, artificial intelligence capabilities. Is there a way in which there could be an AI assistant for somebody to complete a form, fill in a form, who
I
might
don't
be
know.
low vision or blind?
Good question. I don't know, but I'm going to ask Bill. I will write Bill Hirsch and ask him that how to do it because he might know. Okay. All right. Anyway, so I wanted you to know that there are inaccessible forms on the town website, but hopefully, I mean, linked to on the town website, but hopefully we will work that out so that people can fill them out independently. Um,
Okay, I'm not sure what the next step on this is.
um, I sent a note to Sam.
Right.
Hopefully she will get back to me. Hopefully somebody else doesn't say, you shouldn't have contacted her. You should have contacted me. I don't know anything about that. I always do that wrong. Anyway, um, so the next step on it is we have to find out how to do it and tell the town how to do it. And then they will decide who will do it, I guess, right?
Well,
So
I mean,
in
my take on that is that it's the town's responsibility to figure out how to do it and then
Yeah.
clear it with us as consultants, basically, or not obviously not me or nor Seren, but you
Yeah.
and Reggie,
you know
sir.
what, Jim, you're right, except Reggie and I know who to contact and they wouldn't have a clue. We have our own little world here, but I can find out how they would do it. And then I can tell them
Or
how they
request
would do
from
it.
the town manager that we are having some issues with forms that is inaccessible for people with visual impairments.
Yeah.
So we request a way to look into that. So what do you suggest? And please let us know. So, because we cannot really spend the time to educate ourselves what is available because it's not our field.
Well, yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
They won't take it's better if we do that, especially since we know who to contact. They just have too much on their plate. This is so low incidence. They're not going to figure this out. We can figure it out and tell them it's their job to figure out who's going to do it and by when, but it's not I can tell them what they need to do. I mean, I don't have a problem with that. If we know what to do, we should tell them. And if we don't know what to do, we should tell them we don't know what to do. But it is a problem and the forms have to be accessible. So okay. This is a good, let me write this one down too. Um, okay. Um, and is there anything else? Let's see. Oh, okay. So I think we've actually handled everything that is on the agenda. Is there anything that people want to bring up that um we need to bring up because it came up after the agenda was um created?
I apologize for my dog barking in the background.
I don't even hear it.
Okay. Well, in any event, I know that at the last meeting we were hoping that Mindy Dom could join us and talk about
Oh yeah,
the
you're
issues
right.
with
And
the
she
math
wrote back and said she can't
legislation,
make
and
it.
I don't know where that is. I have a feeling the whole legislation is going to die in this session because that's how the legislature works. But in any
Yep.
event, where is that?
Okay, so I actually received an email from her assistant. She wrote to Pamela, but I got it too. And it basically, we can't make this meeting. Let us know if we have to make it. We need advance notice, blah, blah, blah. That has to do, Ian, with
With
the
Lindsay
bill to
Tabadosa's
Matt.
bill,
I'm sorry?
with Lindsay Tabadosa's personal
with the bill
protective
to
equipment
ban
bill.
mask bans.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think if we can tell her when the next meeting is, and if we can put her on the beginning of the next agenda, this meeting happened at a time that it's not normally scheduled because it's the third week. So the second Tuesday in December, December 9. And do people want to have her come?
Yes, let's
I
follow up.
certainly appreciate it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I will write back. I will tell her assistant who just contacted us like yesterday, that that we're having it on the 9th and we would like her to come and report on the status of the bill and what what's going on with it and what she thinks about it. Because I mean, obviously bills are put in. If they ever get anywhere, then they start to work on them, right? They have amendments and they change this or that, friendly amendments or whatever they do. So you never know how the bill is going to end up. You just know what was proposed. Okay. Um, anything else?
Myra, this is one other thing. This is Ian again.
Yep.
Traffic and pedestrian traffic related question. Are there any specific rules about where accessible pedestrian blinkers for visually impaired people are required to go?
That's also a very good question. The requirements are, I actually don't know that about pedestrian signals. There are rules about where stoplights are supposed to go, and where they're supposed to be placed. And I don't know all those rules. There are people who do know them, but I don't. I think there aren't any rules at the moment that require those those accessible pedestrian signals. That hasn't been written into the code yet. So the towns that are doing it because of perhaps they anticipate the federal government has some guidelines that have been stalled because of Trump. And so things that looked like they were going to come to fruition are still sitting there. I don't know exactly the status of any of that, but I know that when you put in the signals, you you can't exactly um I think at this point we have goodwill in Amherst. I think we have explained with sufficient reasonability to Guilford, to the town council, that we need these things and they are putting them in. But in other towns, they are not. In other towns, they are, but in other towns, they're not.
Got it. The reason I ask is on Pine Street where I live, there's a pedestrian crossing that has a blinking light to cause traffic to stop.
Where are you? Where on Pine Street? Whoops. Do you hear me? Where on Pine Street? Uh-oh, he's gone. Or am I gone?
No, we hear you.
Ian, are you still there? Uh-oh. That would, yeah. I didn't kill him, I promise. I don't know where he is, but I didn't do it. So yeah, I think if he can hear me,
I think
can you see if he's still connected?
It just read that he left the meeting.
Oh, all right. Well, I guess he got disconnected. I don't think he would have left in the middle of a sentence voluntarily. Um, okay, so if he comes back, it would be good to know where on Pine Street because we should put it on a agenda. Or he could contact Guilford and talk about it, find out if it's possible to do it there. If it's already a blinking light, the electricity is there. So maybe what he has to put there is just a different thing. Anyway, well, he's not coming back. All right. December 9 would be the next meeting. How long should we wait for him to get back? I'd like him to get back. Um, I don't know. Do you see, does it look like he's back?
He's not.
He's not. Okay. All right. Well, I can send him a note. Um, so minutes, we need to do minutes. I need a motion to approve the minutes.
So move.
I need a second.
Approved.
Okay, does anybody have any corrections to the minutes? I did have one. It had to do with spelling, and I can't remember it now. It was a funny one. Oh well, I was relatively accurate. Okay. All right. Nobody has any additions or corrections to the
Oh,
minute?
he just came back to the meeting.
Oh, Ian, you're there.
Yeah,
Hi,
but
sor-
we have a
sorry
motion
about that.
on the floor. We can just vote and then get back to Ian.
Okay. Additions or corrections to the minutes, Ian? Do you have any?
Not on my part, no.
Okay, all right. So all in favor of accepting the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
I
Aye. All opposed to accepting the minutes? Any abstentions? Okay, we're accepting the minutes. All right. So Ian, where on Pine Street?
it's where Pine Street turns into I believe it's Bridge Street, right near Cushman Cafe.
Okay.
And so there's a button that you press to get the blinker to go to for cars to yield. And the button works on one side of the street but not the other. And when I wrote to Pamela about it, I was also wondering about the legal requirements for auditory accessibility for those types of buttons as well.
I'm sure he would be happy to put one in if he had one. I think the last time we asked him, he had a bunch of them on order, but I don't think he received them all. But I think that's something that we could inform Guilford about, that we're interested in knowing. Philip, can you leave a message for Pamela that asks her to contact Philip about Pine Street at Bridge Street about putting an audible signal on the existing blinker?
Yes. And it's contact Guilford, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if he has any at the moment. He'll tell you he doesn't have any money, but it's one of those things that should be on the list. And it's one of those things that should be, that those kinds of things I think would be the kinds of things you want to come up with a transportation commission so everybody can understand why we need to have them, so that whenever the transportation commission makes any decisions about anything, they think, oh yeah, we need to have one there, instead of having it be on a case by case basis. That's why the transportation commission, I think, is so important, because right now we do everything piecemeal. And this is a place to really organize it all into, some really good steps. So, yeah, I think we can do that. All right. So it's 1:04. And I think we can have a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn the meeting.
I'll second that.
Okay. All right. So December 9, and that'll be the next meeting. And we have some things to put on it that we already know. Okay. Thank you, folks. Have a happy turkey.
You
Or
too.
if you're vegetarian, a tofurkey.
Same to you.
Did
Thank
we
you.
actually vote?
What?
Did we
Do we
actually?
have to vote to adjourn?
Oh,
Yeah, maybe we do. Thank you. All right. Who's
Aye.
not in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Aye.
Wait, you're not in favor of adjourning?
Oh,
Is
you're
every
tricking us. You're tricking us.
I was just going to get people who weren't in favor of adjourning, and then there wouldn't be any answer, and then we would be able to adjourn. Oh, but it's sort of silly. Okay, all in favor of adjourning?
I
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. That was everybody. All not in favor of adjourning? Okay, we're adjourned.
Okay. Bye bye.
All
Thank
right,
you.
bye.
Bye.